Persephone and the Pomegranate Seeds and Atlanta's Race. By Geraldine McCaughrean. Illustrated by Tony Ross. In those early days the weather was always warm and sunny. The flowers were always in bloom, the crops were always ready for harvest. The goddess Demeter tended the countryside like a garden, planting seeds, watering the green grass, encouraging the trees to put on first blossom, then leaves, then fruit. And while Demeter worked, her little daughter Persephone used to play in the green woods of Sicily, picking violets until her apron was full. When mother and child walked home hand in hand at the end of another sunny day, talking and singing and laughing together, the evening primroses opened just to watch them pass by. Pluto was not so lucky. Although he was a god, he did not live on the top of Mount Olympus in halls of cloud and sunlight, or on the earth among trees and fields. Pluto ruled over the kingdom of the dead, and lived under the earth in darkness and bitter cold. Not one ray of sunshine ever found its way down into those echoing caverns and tunnels. But worse than either cold or dark was the loneliness. Pluto tried to find a wife, but nobody wanted to give up the sunshine, the flowers, or the glittering sea to live in Pluto's dismal kingdom beneath the ground. Sometimes Pluto would climb to the brim of the underworld and peep out at the girls and women playing in their sun. The bright light hurt his eyes, but the sight of all those pretty women hurt even more. One day he saw Persephone picking violets in her Sicilian wood. "That's the one," murmured Pluto. "How beautiful she is! Oh yes, she's the wife for me." But Pluto did not go to Demeter and ask to marry her daughter, he knew she would say no. Instead, he harnessed his black chariot and thundered out into the sunlight. Lashing his whip, he drove his horses on at full tilt. All Sicily shook at his coming, and his wheels felled trees to right and left as he raced through the woods. Holding the reins in his teeth, Pluto leaned out and snatched Persephone by her long hair. Her apron spilled all its violets. "Who are you? What do you want with me? Oh, let me go! Help me, somebody! Mother, help me!" she cried. The trees bawled after Pluto, "Come back! Leave her alone!" Their green leaves flushed red with shouting, but Pluto took no notice as he raced back to his underworld. He struck out with his whip. The earth split open. A bottomless ravine gaped, and his chariot sped downwards. Down into the dark, down into the cold, he carried Persephone. "Don't cry," he told her. "I shall make you my queen. Be happy. I'll give you all the riches of the earth, gold and silver and gems. You have the love of a king. What more do you want?" "I want to go home. I want my mother," sobbed Persephone. When they reached the river Styx, which divides the earth from the kingdom of the dead, she cried out, "River, help me! I am Persephone! Save me, please!" The river heard her and knotted itself around the god's legs, almost tripping him. But Pluto kicked it aside like a dog. In despair, Persephone slipped off her belt of flowers and threw it into the tumbling water. "Take that to my mother and tell her," she pleaded. The river took her belt and hurried away. Then darkness closed in on all sides. Pluto had reached home with his captive wife. Meanwhile, up on the earth, Demeter came looking for her daughter at the end of the day. "Persephone, darling! Time to go home!" But there was no answer. Demeter called out and asked everyone she met, but it was hopeless. Persephone had simply disappeared. All Demeter's work was forgotten as she searched high and low for the child. Nothing mattered but to find Persephone. So the flowers wilted. The crops stopped growing. And as Demeter wept, the trees wept with her, shedding their leaves in brown and yellow tears. After searching the world over, Demeter returned to Sicily and sat down in despair beside a river. As she gazed at the water, what should come spinning by on the current but a little cord of flowers? Persephone is in the underworld, whispered the water. I saw her. Pluto has stolen her away to be his queen. Then Demeter ran all the way to Mount Olympus and rattled at the gates of heaven. Zeus! Lord Zeus! Help me! Pluto has stolen away my daughter. Make him give her back. Zeus listened to poor Demeter. You say your daughter was taken by force? Pluto shouldn't have done that. But there again dash. Oh, Zeus, she interrupted him. If I don't get my daughter back, how shall I go on decking the earth with flowers and fruit? I only do it out of joy, and without Persephone there is no joy for me. Let the earth wither and die for all I care. Zeus shivered at the thought. The little people on the earth would quickly stop paying tribute to the gods if their crops stopped growing and their trees died. It's not up to me, he said gruffly. There are rules. If Persephone eats anything while she is in the underworld, she cannot come back up to earth.